What was that noise? Oh, it's horrible. It's whistling. A moron would say, oh, that's your water pump. It's got to be your water pump. It's your alternator. It's your transmission. All we need to do is find out. I really hope it's just an idler pulley. Okay, yeah, that is an idler pulley. Oh, that would be wonderful if it was it. But upon poking around, looking around, look at that power steering pulley. It's all over the place. Not supposed to move that much. With a stethoscope or some kind of listening device, it's really hard. I couldn't tell you if it's coming from the right or the left. Oh, what we're going to do, take the belt off and run the engine without the belt. And then we'll know that it is a pulley that's doing it. I can see that the pulley is flush with the shaft. So why is it wobbling so much? I don't know, but I seriously doubt it's just barely on there and needs to be tightened up. It looks very much on there. I really hope that that's not it. Because, you know, the pulley does not have bearings in it. The bearings are inside the pump. I'd very much like to just remove this idler pulley and run it without it, see if that's it. But I think if I do that, then the belt will no longer be deflected and it will rub on the housing. So that's oh, anyway, I don't feel like removing the shroud or the fan, so this is going to be quite a challenge. I have to stick a ratchet in there and make a tool. It's good for that, but no, I don't need that tool. I'm just going to use my ratchet, take the tension off of this belt, and this, look how crazy this is. It goes down there, around the AC compressor and back up. It takes a sharp turn right there, goes around the crankshaft. Wow. Belt goes over the alternator, down to the right of the power steering pump, and then comes around underneath, goes up and wraps around the water pump, and then it goes down to the right of the crank pulley. It goes around, comes up from the left of the crank pulley, goes around the tensioner, and goes down to the right of the AC compressor, wraps around, comes up, and then passes through here, through the tensioner. Well, now is a good time to inspect the belt. How's our depth of all the grooves? I'd say they look good. The grooves are any more worn than the others. Pretty even. A little bit of crackling on the in the ribs, you know. Overall, how's the back of the belt? Looks fine. And it actually rubs against the idler that has yeah, a bit of rust. It's doing fine. I think the belt is fine. Which way does the power steering pulley spin? Oh boy. Okay. Well, this. Let me get a pencil. This is the crankshaft. It spins clockwise. So it's going to yank on the belt here, and it's going to spin the water pump counterclockwise, which is yanking on this, and it's spinning it clockwise. Whew. Okay. Freaking insanity. There's our power steering pulley. Hiding down there. I'm not taking the fan shroud and the fan off. This is too much. Okay, there's a little bit of play in there. That's my fingernails. It's spinning. Okay. It's not grinding or nothing. All right. Oh boy, here's the alternator. Let's give that a spin. See, you want these to spin freely, for sure. If they're hard to spin, that's a problem. But if they just keep on spinning and spinning, then that's another problem, because your bearings means they're worn out. You yank on it, wiggle it. It's not moving. I mean, that seems fine to me. This is idler here. If I spin it, see, it spins freely, but it doesn't keep going forever. So, I mean, chances are that it's got grease in it. The bearings are just... all the rollers are tight as they need to be against the race, but not too tight and not too loose. Okay. So we go down here. It's the tensioner. Oh, and it's whistling. If I spin it, yeah, I made a bell sound with my finger, but it's whistling, and it's continuing to spin. It just keeps on. Oh, let me get a flashlight. That's that darn tensioner. Oh, hey, that's not bad. I'll take that. Hey, there's the tensioner. I used my socket, my 1/2-inch socket wrench, to loosen it up. It's hard, so I put another wrench on the handle of it to move it. So I'm not buying a tool that I don't hardly ever need. And the freaking ball and the socket here, it's always the details that kill me. The ball didn't want to move much. It was preventing me from sticking this in the hole. There's a ball there. Oh God. So I had to grease it. I get it unstuck. Oh wow. I'd like to run the motor for a minute we won't be getting any alternating current coming out of this device, which is then converted into direct current for the battery. We won't get any power generation, but it'll only be for a minute, which is completely fine. I looked it up. Oh. See, it's making noise. And it's spinning forever and ever. No wiggle. None of that. But surely, let me spin it. I'll put the flashlight on there. Gosh, I think that's it. I think that's the one. Alright. Being that the belt is off, none of these accessories are spinning. There's no longer a whistling noise. Ain't that something? Fan's not spinning. Power steering. Water pump, which the fan is connected to. Alternator, idler, tensioner, AC compressor. None of those things are spinning. Yeah, it's a pulley. It's a pulley. And I think I found the one. I'll give this a spin. Yeah, I'm 90% sure this is it. Oh, and when I'm driving it, it's in the cab, I can hear it so much. It's every time I change gears, of course, the engine RPM changes, and it's like whoosh, whoosh, oh, it's freaking annoying. So we got to figure out how to get that off of there. I don't think the pulley comes off the way that you would think it would, because my 1/2-inch socket wrench ratchet goes, square drive goes in there. You got these 1, 2, 3, I'm guessing 4 bolts. Let's go look at the book. Glad it's not the power steering, although it is a bit wobbly. Hey, belt's doing fine, so hey, hear no evil, see no evil. I guess there's no evil. Yeah, I hear a car alarm. A lot of good that does, huh? Am I rushing over right now to make sure there's nothing being stolen? No. I'm viewing it as a nuisance. Wow. The only sad thing is it's not a Viper. It doesn't play all those tunes. That's freaking annoying. Ah, man. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, there it goes again. Ugh. We are in book 2, and we are looking for accessory drive 30305. 30305. TAC 10 is our accessory drive belt tensioner. Remove the drive belt. That we did. Okay. Drive belt tensioner with air conditioning is shown. Yeah, that's what I have. Remove the bolts and remove the drive belt tensioner. To install, reverse the removal procedure. 18 pound-feet of torque on all these bolts. It would be nice if they told you what the size of the bolts are. That way you don't have to keep on trying different sockets to see which one it is. I like to use a caliper, digital caliper. That way I always know. 18 pound-feet. So that pulley is not able to be changed. I have to get the entire tensioner? Dude, that's going to be expensive. It's got a spring-loaded mechanism, and it's got the housing with all the bolts. I just need the pulley. Oh. I wonder if the pulley is bolted on from the back. I'll have to find out. It doesn't say. I'm sure it would say if you just need to replace the pulley. We'll see. Oh yeah, that's gotta be it. It's under tension, it's spinning at much higher speed. You know it. Only 3 bolts. Thought there was a one hiding under here. Only 3. And yes, there's a bolt here, so I could replace this. The part number is the same as the idler pulley. Cool. I'm lucky. This is great. Oh my God! Can you imagine if it was the alternator or the power steering pulley? Oh my God! Or if it was something else. Easy breezy little pulley. 3 10mm bolts. They didn't put up a fight at all. I'm happy. So happy. I sprayed a little WD-40. I could feel the vibration in my hand. It is hosed. There it is. I'll tell you what, after cleaning it up, I could see that there is a pulley and there's a bearing. This bolt is made out of steel and this hole is made out of aluminum. I got some shavings that came out when I pulled it out. It wasn't hard to do. It wasn't jammed. It took some of that aluminum with it. Still threads in fine. We don't have a torque spec for that. But, oh, check it out. See this lip here on the back is what the bearing goes up against. It has to come out from this direction. It is very much pressed in there. If I could get that bearing, this is a $25 part. Imagine if I get the bearing, press it in, I could save like 20 bucks. In addition to the $100 an hour I'm saving by doing this. And boy, oh boy. Got to be a way I get that bearing out of there. Because the pulley's fine. Just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. That's not hurting the belt. Not at all. We're going to see what we can do about that bearing. Oh, let's go into the hardware bin of happiness. Let's see. Ooh, bearings and spacers. I'll take one of those. Oh yeah, there's a bearing from a CRF 50. Oh, let's see if that works. It's a little bit smaller than it needs to be. Darn. Well, where am I going to get a bearing? Probably have to order one. And how do you press it out? I had a press. I had a 20-ton press. It's big, it's heavy. I very, very rarely ever would use it, and so sold it for exactly what I paid for it. It was pretty good. Oh. Of course, I don't have a 1,000 square foot workshop to keep something like that. If I did, maybe perhaps I would. Well, I'd love to have a tire machine and all these other things, but it's, you know, how that goes. And we might just buy the part. You know? Oh, that's a lot more like it. It's easy to spin, and when you spin it, it doesn't keep on going. And that is 25 bucks. Proper repair. Oh, unreal. It's still doing it. I feel like I've been defeated. I'm such a schmuck. Oh. I'm going to take that pulley that I had and I'm going to put it on the idler. See what happens. I really think it's coming from the left-hand side here and not the right. Oh, I thought it might be the idler pulley bearing. I took it off and then I was getting mad and I was going to swap them. I thought they were the same. They're not. One's bigger than the other. You can't run it without that because then the belt will rub and probably wipe out the belt. Then I was going to go to the store and buy one and I was just getting mad. Oh, I took the plastic splash shield off the bottom, took the belt off again, spun the AC compressor, and see, maybe that might be it. It feels fine, but at high speed, you don't know. You got your crank pulley, that's the size that it is, and then all these other ones are different sizes, and they could be spinning mighty fast. There's no way to replicate that. But I'll tell you what, I put my hand on this alternator here, I could feel it. I'm 100% sure it's the alternator. I found the problem. It's very expensive. There's a way to replace the bearings. And that's what I'm going to do. Well, this here is my alternator. It's got 5 pieces. So that's pretty sweet. It was not that bad to take apart. This here, these are the brushes. Spring-loaded, itty-bitty wires. 130 amp. Got these little bitty wires on there. Great shape though. Is that anybody ever tries to be a wiseacre and say, how are your brushes doing? Oh, my brushes are doing Jim Dandy. Plenty of material. This little guy, that's the one that goes in the rear, and it doesn't want to come off. We'll see what we could do. But this is the one up front. This wasn't too bad to get off. I popped the dust cover off of here, and lo and behold, the grease is dried up, and I can see in the outer areas, it looks like there's no grease remaining. If I spin this, there's nothing about it that would tell me there's anything wrong with it. If you try and give it a test, you know, give it a jiggle, give it a spin, say, feels fine to me. And it is fine when I first started up. After a minute or two, then it starts squeaking. It whistles and keeps on whistling. So, really, really hard to diagnose. Well, what I'm going to do is clean it out and re-grease it. You can see here, this is the grease where it's like all, it's dry. There's some videos on YouTube with guys showing how to do this and guys showing how to take the alternator apart, and wow, I'm so grateful for that. Gotta give them guys credit. No need to replace the alternator. I mean, that's $150 to $250 part just because of these bearings, you know. So there's some guys in the comments that are saying after greasing them, it didn't get rid of the noise. And then there's guys saying a week later the noise came back. And there's guys saying that it worked great. Solved the problem. Well, I'm going to grease them. Give it a try. And I'm going to get, if I have to, get the parts on order. And because I have to order them and I have to wait for them. So I can't get them at the store. Big surprise there. Yet another thing that you got to order and wait for. So, you know, if I have to, I'll still have an alternator, and I know it'll be fine. And get the new bearings when we have to. But this is worth a shot. I really got to know whether it's the front or the rear that's doing it. So, it'd be nice if I had some kind of high-speed motor, and then I can test it. Gotta test it. So I'm going to use the drill. Put the biggest socket I could on there. That spins nice and fast. A little bit of duct tape. Give it some cushion, give it some grip. Settle this once and for all. Oh, this is the tensioner pulley that I replaced. I decided to take it apart, check it out while I'm at it, and I'm greasing bearings. Boy, it is dry. If you look deep in there, there's nothing left. The black areas you see between all the balls are it's the retainers. It's the carriage. Transports the bearings round and round. The grease is non-existent in this one. I do reckon I'm gonna do my idler pulley I'm going to grease the heck out of that one while I'm at it. I'm doing all this. I grease up all my bearings. Gosh, for these to last as long as they do, that's pretty incredible. They spin at, you know, thousands of RPMs for so many miles, so many years. And you turn that key and it just plant your foot in the loud pedal and it's always spinning. We got this gal all greased up and it still feels crunchy. It's not spinning as freely. You know, it's not. Spin it doesn't keep on going because it has grease now. When I cleaned it out with brake cleaner, and there's not a speck of anything in there, it was really like you can just spin it and it just keeps on going. Yeah, it's so now even though this one has plenty of grease, it feels crunchy. So this is weird with bearings. They could be very deceptive. Oh, back in. It's quieter. It still makes a little bit of a noise. Still whistling. Definitely a difference. Put my hand on it. Yeah, it's not as much. It's still there. Have to get new bearings. It's constant whistling and it annoys me. Yeah, it's definitely quieter, but it's still there. It really, really annoys me. A constant whistling sound, it gets into my eardrum, and it's always there with the RPM. Can't stand that. And it causes people to think that it must be a transmission. It causes me to think that. It's like some natural phenomenon. You're like, oh, that automatically, that's got to be a transmission. But it's not, of course, because if I take the belt off and run it without the belt, then the noise is gone. And I know it's the alternator. So, well, yeah, definitely have to get new bearings.